you got three teams here: Texas A&M, Illinois, and Georgia Tech. Let's break these teams down. Tell us why you like them, what you expect, and how we can bet on these teams. The floor is yours.
Yeah, well, first of all, when we're looking at sleeper teams, in order to qualify as a sleeper team, it can't be one of the teams that the national media is hyping up all summer. Everybody's picking them as their sleeper team. If everybody's picking them as their sleeper team, are they really a sleeper? So these three teams fit a specific criteria. They're all plus money, more than 2-1 to make the playoffs. They all have solid quarterbacks, solid coaching staffs, and plenty of returning production. I spoke on last week's show about what I think the recipe for success in college football is. It's a little bit old school and a little bit controversial because a lot of people like to load up in the transfer portal, sign a bunch of new guys, and hope it all fits together. I personally still believe that developing talent and building a team slowly and in that year three, you really look to make a run, and these teams fit that mold. And we'll start with Texas A&M, Mike Elko, obviously a great coach. You saw what he did at Duke, particularly what he did in year two at Duke. This will be year two at Texas A&M. Year one went pretty well. They lost to Notre Dame in week one, rattled off 7 straight wins. They were in a position to win the SEC at one point. They're bringing back their quarterback, Marcel Reed. This guy's not going to win a Heisman. He's not probably going to be an NFL quarterback. But as far as a college football quarterback, he does what they need him to do. He's able to run the ball. He's able to move the ball. He's elusive. He's a gamer, good enough to get you to the playoffs, in my opinion. And then you look at returning production. They rank 6th in the country, returning 71% of the production from last season. That's really key. So it's the devil you know versus the devil you don't know. And when you're bringing back all your players from a season where you were pretty successful, that's something that I want to bet on. And I prefer betting on that rather than high-profile transfers in the portal. And we'll move on to Illinois. They're plus 500 to make the playoffs, by the way. Illinois, and Texas A&M was plus 225. 12-team playoff, Illinois is ranked number 12 in the country, and you're getting that kind of price. Now, the Big Ten is pretty competitive, but this is a team that won 10 games last year. Brett Bielema has been there since 2021. They rank 3rd nationally in returning production, so everybody's coming back. And at the quarterback position, Luke Altmaier, this guy's been around forever. He was great last year with plenty of game-winning drives, come from behind victories. He's got that clutch gene, that's for sure. You don't hear people talk about Altmaier that much compared to some of the other big-name quarterbacks, but Altmaier is a guy that's certainly capable of leading a team to the playoffs. You look at their schedule, they've got some tough road games at Indiana and at Washington. I think both of those will be tough, but both of them will be winnable. They got a home game against Ohio State, and getting them at home gives them a shot. Really, they probably only have to win one of those 3 games. They'll be a significant favorite in the rest of their games, and a 10-win Big Ten team should make the playoffs this year. So I like Illinois at 5-1 odds. And then you got unranked Georgia Tech, 7-1 odds. They're in the ACC, so they might hold that against them. But Brent Key, this is year 3 for Brent Key. This team ranks 26th in returning production, but it's the guys that they're bringing back. Haynes King is back at quarterback, Jamal Haynes at running back. Now, they lost a few of their receivers, but receiver is a position. I think you go to the portal, you replace those receivers. That's not asking too much for a team like this. And they're a team that likes to really pound the rock and run the ball. Well coached. I love Brent Key. Keep in mind, this is a team that went 5 overtimes or eight, an obscene amount of overtimes last year against Georgia. They can beat anybody when they're on their game, and getting all those players back from last year's team, I think they're going to be a tough out once again. Their schedule, they got a home game against Clemson. So the fact that it's at home gives them a chance. And then they've got that neutral site game against Georgia. If they can win one of those games, they're in for sure. And they might not need to win either of those games to get into the playoffs, depending on how it plays out for everybody else. But yeah, those are my 3 sleeper teams. Andy, what do you think?
I think there's a theme with all of those, and it's continuity. I've heard you and many others, talk about these teams that could have a really good chance and some that might falter. But these three sleeper teams, how much of it is a sleeper when they are just returning everything, and it just feels like continuity is king in the era of NIL. So is that like basically the number one thing that you're looking at? I'm sure there's a lot of factors when you look at teams. Feels like continuity is the big one.
Yeah, continuity and coaching. Certain coaches, I have faith that they're competitive guys. There's a few teams that are more talented, have better rosters, but their coaches have a bit of a dicey reputation when it comes to winning big games. I like to stay away from teams like that. Those are my teams that I think are overrated. But yeah, there's a difference in philosophy. There's certainly different people that believe different things, but I like the old school approach: continuity, returning production, solid coaching. Defense and a running game will take you a long way.